Welcome to the Call to Action podcast with Nicole Magic, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers are rewarded. Join us for the insightful wisdom of today's special guest with an irresistible offer. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nicole Magic with the Call to Action podcast, where professional service providers and strategists share their wisdom. It's short and sweet because we value everyone's time and energy. So let's dive right in. I'm here with Sasha Dale from Sasha Dale Photography. And can you just tell us in a few sentences who you are and what you do?
Hey, Nicole, I'm Sasha Dale, and I own a studio in Mystic, Connecticut. I specialize boudoir and branding photography, but I'm going to talk more about the boudoir side today during our conversation. I'm a mom of two little kids, so I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. I have a puppy named Frankie. She's a girl, and she's about 7 months old. She's hanging out with me for the day. And my husband is in the Navy, so I navigate a lot of schedule changes and basically schedule my life as if my husband didn't exist, which makes running a business hard, but I'll probably talk about that a little bit as well. And I've managed to stay really successful, and I absolutely love what I do. Love being a mom, but also working hard.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that you're kind of juggling around there. And that's really great because a lot of the people that watch this, they have a lot of stuff going on, right? An Air Force mom. So there's a lot of things that all of a sudden things will happen and everything is, changing schedules. I run my own business, changing schedules. Couple kids over here, changing schedules. So it's like everything is always constantly changing. And so tell us a little bit about, how you started your business and what wisdom you'd like to share with our attendees today.
So I actually started probably as most photographers start, doing everything to get an idea of how to do it. And then from there, I ended up becoming a high school senior portrait photographer for quite some time when I was living in the Midwest. It was easier to photograph high school seniors there because they didn't have the same kind of setup as we have out here in New England, where you have to go through the big vendors that do the high school photos. And I loved it. But when I moved out to Connecticut, I struggled connecting with the teenagers the same way I did in Illinois, maybe different mindsets of the girl, mostly girls I photographed. I did photograph a few boys. Boys are easy regardless. But the girls I struggled with. And so I actually had a makeup artist of mine recommend that I try boudoir. And to be frank, I was kind of nervous about it at first because I was a prude for very much most of my life. And so imagining myself photographing other people in their lingerie or even less felt a little bit uncomfortable at first, the idea of it. So she suggested trying it with her, and we did. And I did not feel remotely uncomfortable. It felt so much fun, and it was empowering for her, yes, but also for me, because I got to see how she lit up when she saw the photos of herself in the back of camera, stretch marks and all, because she was a mom. And I realized, wow, I just connected so much with her. This was an amazing photo shoot. And I realized this could be an amazing benefit for so many women. And so I just started kind of branching off on that. And I'm really glad I started to have a niche. I couldn't care less to photograph kids or weddings or anything else. I just love photographing women and businesses, but women are my passion. And I am actually branching out this year to all genders because I'm LGBTQIA friendly. And so I'm hoping that I get some more of all genders coming in as well, because I've started really just loving this genre of photography.
Oh, that's
And the
awesome.
wisdom, I haven't even gotten to the wisdom part yet. That was just all me bantering because I can just start talking. I think that one of the biggest and most important wisdoms for me has been being able to outsource the things in my business that I just can't manage. It was the hardest thing for me to do, is to be able to let go. It took me years to be comfortable with getting an assistant to do some of the things that normally I would do, because what if they don't do it like I do? I have a studio assistant now and an administrative assistant. I have someone that does my social media, which that is a very hard thing for businesses to be able to release, because it's finding someone that has your voice. And I can tell you, almost the minute that I released it, it was like a huge weight off my shoulder, and I can focus on the part of the business that I love. Because most businesses I talk to, they hate the social media part. They wish that they didn't have to deal with social media, but it's a necessary part of the business. And then the phone calls and the following up and all of that stuff. I just want to do my art, and I want to create photography, and I want to be with the clients and do that. And so if that's the biggest wisdom, I know people think of the dollar signs right up front, that's going to cost me more money, but it's going to give you more time and you'll be able to work with more clients that way. So in the long run, it will actually earn you more money. I think my business has grown dramatically since I've brought in more people to help.
Yeah, and one of the things that I talk to clients about around that, because some of them are new entrepreneurs just starting up in that space. So it's like in that weird place of when you're getting to that point of letting something go or want to grab that help, there's this, well, I don't have the money, right? So there's that, whether it's a mindset or it's an actual fact, it's more of, sometimes it's easier to just find somebody to do some of it, release some of it, whatever you can afford, even if it's a few hours, because those few hours, you dedicate that to going and getting a new client and bringing in the cash flow. And if you do that a few times and you just get into that routine, that's what helps everything to shift. Tiny shifts make huge progress.
Yep. And that's how I started. I started with the assistant, then the admin assistant, and then the social media. So as you're just able to let go a little bit, you realize, wow, this has actually been beneficial for my business. And it makes it a little bit easier each time to let go of some more.
Yeah. So you mentioned before, when we talked before about like how this is about a lot of self-love, and I look at that too as like that self-acceptance, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes people are coming to you and maybe they're feeling they want to do it, but there's a part of them that hasn't really like stepped fully into that. How do you work with them to really be able to let their guard down and step into themselves?
So we see a shift a lot of times in the middle of a photo shoot, because we've still had many clients come to us that are still nervous. They're still not sure, but they know they need this for themselves. I think the one thing that's a little bit different about me than a lot of boudoir photographers is I don't have a lot of new brides doing this for their husband. Like my clients are past that phase. They're at a point in their life when they realize, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm not going to be my 17-year-old body anymore, my 25-year-old body. And I realized my kids are getting older. They're starting to look at their bodies. I need to accept me and love the woman I am now, the man that I am now, because I might die tomorrow and no one's going to see a photo of me because I'm going to shy away from the camera because I'm so worried about what I think my body should look like. And I've had so many clients this year. It's been like a nice influx of women that are realizing this is me and I just need to feel empowered, have the experience and see what happens. And you see the shift in the middle of the shoot because I'm not one of the photographers that hides the camera. I'll show them. This is you not photoshopped. This is exactly what you look like right now. I didn't do anything to your body. This is you. And I have a photo, a behind the scenes photo of one of the clients, like so excited looking at the camera because like, wow, like she even told me like, this was one of the best experiences. I never thought I could do this. And the testimonials speak for themselves when they send them because I think she was in her mid 40s and she had been wanting to do something like this for years and just never thought she was at a good place physically to do it. And you're always in a good place to do it because you need to love and accept yourself today, tomorrow. I'm going to look different 10 years from now. I might be picky about my appearance because I don't look like I look at all the grays I have, but you know what? I'm starting to love my grays. And I'm going to look so much different 10 years from now. So you should celebrate it every stage because your body tells your journey of your life and you deserve to feel empowered in it.
Absolutely. I 100% agree, especially on the self-love, self-acceptance, because that's definitely one of those things that everybody needs to feel fulfilled in their lives. One is safety and security. One is acceptance. which is love, respect, belonging, and where do you start that within yourself? And the third thing is to feel empowered. So all of those things come into play when you're, you know, in that setting. They
Yep.
have to feel safe and secure. They shift when they start really accepting themselves and stepping into that empowerment. And that's really awesome that you provide that for your clients. So I'm going to ask you, what obstacle became your greatest opportunity?
I actually almost kind of spoke about it a little before with the high school seniors thing, but I do have probably several different obstacles that have hit me along the way because probably as with many small creative type businesses, you have people in your life that maybe think this is not a real job. And I experienced that from very close family, parents, to the point where I was very down on myself. And I also do have the personality where I like to prove people wrong. And I think that was a big help for me. So it was a huge obstacle. I moved from Illinois to Connecticut for support from my family, and I got the absolute opposite of that. And I've been working very hard to prove them wrong. And I did that a few years ago. I mean, that's in the past now. I'm just doing very well. I remember bringing my first $3,500 check home from a family session, and my parents' jaw dropped. And they're like, I didn't think people would pay this kind of money. And I said, you wouldn't, I wouldn't, but I'm not my client. And if you know how to market your business well, if you know how to provide a great service, there are people out there that are in your price range that love the value of what you offer and they will pay it. And it's amazing the shift that my family has made and those people have made once they've seen me grow over the years. But it was definitely an obstacle because I am the kind of person that likes to prove people wrong. So rather than giving up when that all happened, it kind of just pushed me to work even harder. So sorry for my dog.
Awesome. Dog's got to play.
Yeah.
So because I deal with a lot of, mindset, mindfulness and things like that, what is your favorite mindfulness practice or technique?
So for me, it's about just getting my mind organized, because I do suffer from anxiety. I actually take a medication every day to help with that. But I think sitting down each week and looking at my schedule and then making myself a to-do list of like action items that I need to get done for the week, it kind of just pours the stress out of my brain a little bit. But it's honestly just that, it's getting lists together and organizing my week and my schedule, and then I feel just very ready to go. So I think that's the best practice for me.
It is very helpful when you have everything planned out, or at least the non-negotiables, right? Get those
Yes.
out of what you need to do for yourself or your business. And I usually put together my list too, and of these are the things each day.
I was just doing that before we got on the call even. It feels good to like get it out on paper.
Yeah, it does. And to execute on them and have them done, because you can take the things that are the top priority of what you need to get done for yourself or your business or both.
Yep.
There's usually something that I do for myself before I even start my business, so that I have one thing done and not pushing myself to the back burner. So it's like that's one of those techniques that if there's one thing that you need to get done, and sometimes it's a phone call to book an appointment, right? Whether
Yep.
it's hair, doctor, whatever it is, and sometimes you can't get it done first thing in the morning. So you do a little work and then you set the timer. This is the time that you're going to do that. When the office opens, you give the call, it's done, right?
Yep.
Cross it off the list. So you
Phone
get
calls
things
are
done.
always the hardest to do. They take like 2 minutes, but in your mind, it's like this big event.
Yeah, it's so crazy, right? What our minds tell us. And like that's
Yes.
part of self-love, right? It's self-care, whatever it is that you do for yourself. So I love that of what you do and how you bring that transformation to your clients. So tell us how people can get in touch with you and what is your irresistible call to action for our action takers?
So getting in touch with me, my website is sashadalephotography.com. And I would say an irresistible call to action is honestly just join my private boudoir Facebook group. It's free, just follow. You can see the behind the scenes of how an experience works. You can see other women being empowered. You don't have to do anything. You can comment, you can share your own experiences. And then from there, you can decide if it's an experience down the road that you want to take. And it's on my website. I can even send a link to Nicole and she can post it as well. But that would be my irresistible call to action.
Awesome, super empowering, super special, and all about you. So thank you all for listening. All the information will be in the description, so don't forget to listen to this, like, follow, subscribe, and listen to the next episode of the Call to Action podcast, where conscious, awakened leaders listen and action takers are rewarded. Sasha, thank you so much for being here today. I so much gratitude and appreciation for you and all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. You are very welcome.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening. I hope you found today's episode insightful and invaluable to elevating your own business.